Welcome to the haunted house party, my dear viewers. I was one of the guests who attended Rachel's birthday bash. But what started out as a night of celebration quickly turned into a journey into the unknown. Join me as I take you on a spine-chilling adventure through the twists and turns of this haunted house. Episode 9, Nightmare at Rachel's Mansion. I was just a college student when I got the invitation to Rachel's 21st birthday party. She had rented out an old mansion on the outskirts of town, and I was excited to see what kind of shenanigans we could get up to in such a grandiose setting. As soon as I arrived, I could tell that the night was going to be epic. The music was loud, the booze was flowing, and everyone was having a good time. We danced and laughed and made new friends, reveling in the freedom of youth and the thrill of being alive. But as the night wore on, things started to take a darker turn. Strange noises could be heard coming from the upstairs, and people began to whisper about the house's dark past. It was said that the mansion had once been the site of strange rituals and occult practices, and that the spirits of the dead still lingered within its walls. I tried to shrug off the sense of unease that was creeping over me, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't quite right. As the clock struck midnight, the lights flickered and went out. We stumbled around in the darkness, trying to find the fuse box. When the lights came back on a few minutes later, I noticed that there were fewer people in the house. Doors that we had closed earlier were now open, and objects were scattered about as if thrown. And then we heard a blood-curdling scream coming from the basement. A group of us rushed down the creaky staircase, our hearts pounding in our chests. What we found in the basement was something straight out of a horror movie. The room was covered in strange symbols and markings, with candles flickering in the corners. In the center of the room was a circle of salt, and in the middle of the circle was Rachel's roommate, Lila. She was tied up, her eyes wide with fear. As we tried to free Lila, a figure emerged from the shadows. She was a woman, but not quite human. Her skin was white as snow, and her eyes were black as coal. She wore a black cloak and carried a staff. She spoke in a language we couldn't understand, and the power of her words vibrated through our bones. We tried to explain that we had just been having a party, that we hadn't meant to disturb anyone. But it was too late. The woman raised her staff and the room was filled with a blinding light. When the light faded, we were alone in the basement. Lila was gone, and so was the woman. We stumbled back upstairs, shaken and confused. We tried to call for help, but our phones were all dead. It was as if the house was trying to keep us trapped inside its walls. As we tried to escape, we heard the sound of something chasing us, something that was not quite human. We ran out into the stormy night, not stopping until we were several blocks away. We huddled together, trying to make sense of what had happened, and wondering if we would ever be able to escape the house's grip. Years passed, but I could never forget that fateful night. The memory haunted me, creeping into my dreams and my waking thoughts. I knew that something had happened in that old house, something that defied explanation, and I knew that I could never go back.